Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash episode 13 video. Just a reminder that it's part 1 of a 2-part Earth 2 episode, so careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. There is a new round of the reverse flash ring giveaway going on too now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. The episode was so big that they had to break it into 2 parts. Every 5 seconds there's an Easter egg, so let's start with top 10 WTF and I'll just do Easter eggs as I go through them. Number 10, Barry and the team go through the wormhole, but it breaks the speed cannon. They have 1 day to fix it, or they're going to get trapped on Earth 2. No surprise that they'll totally wind up fixing it next week. They'll be able to get back because they're going to have to use the speed cannon to get Barry to go to National City to help Supergirl later this year. And you probably spotted at least a couple of the Easter eggs as they were passing through the wormhole. There was a Legion flight ring, that was really what made me poop my pants, and the John Wesley ship flash, Jonah Hex, who's going to be coming on Legends of Tomorrow in a couple episodes, Connor Hawk, who we're definitely going to see on Legends of Tomorrow, Gorilla Grodd, and then Supergirl. All those things from different Earths. Remember, they're traveling through the multiverse, so anything else they saw is present day on another Earth. So somewhere on some other Earth, John Wesley's ship is still the Flash. I think that's so awesome. Supergirl is on her Earth. We really don't know what the designation of that is. I'm going to call it Earth 3 for now because they're on Earth 2 right now. Earth 1 is the main Earth of the show. The Legion flight ring, obviously from present day on another Earth in this episode, but I think that they're going to address that on Legends of Tomorrow. Like they actually will travel to the future at a certain point. Don't know if we'll ever get to travel to those other Earths, but if Zoom finds a way, obviously he wants more speedsters, so he would try to jump to that Earth where Henry Allen is and still his speed too. More on that later because it doesn't sound like Zoom is a scientist, but we really don't know yet. We don't have enough information about his backstory. Number 9, WTF, they start running into characters from their Earth that are villains, but are totally normal on Earth 2. Takamok is the first one. Oh my god! And when they say Mayor Snart, they're talking about Captain Cold. That's an Easter egg for Citizen Cold from Flashpoint. If you never read that comic, it's just an alternate version of Captain Cold that's good instead of being evil. When Cisco and Harrison Wells talk about the vibrational frequency of the different Earths, you could draw a line to Crisis on Infinite Earths and Infinite Crisis later, 2 completely different stories. They tried to use the vibrational frequency of different heroes from different universes to power this engine, but I'm not expecting to see that anytime soon. But when you create a multiverse, you tease the idea that at some point someone is going to try and destroy it, so that's way off in the distance. Number 8, WTF, Barry meets himself, and he's a super geek just like he is on Earth 1. The only difference is he's not the Flash, doesn't have powers, and he seems a little bit more selfish based on what Joseph West says. Number 7, WTF, into the police station. When he walks in and he sees the mural that says a free and just society, obviously talking about the Justice Society because in the comics, Earth 2 became the home of the Justice Society. If you're not up on your DC Comics history, the Golden Age had the Justice Society. When we got to the Silver Age, they created the Justice League. So as part of the transition from Golden to Silver Age, they rebooted all of DC's characters, reimagined them, but they didn't want to throw away all the Golden Age characters. So they just said, hey, these guys exist on Earth 2, and then they had a crossover between the Silver Age characters on Earth 1 and Earth 2, and you get your Justice League, Justice Society crossovers. Barry is married to Iris, big smooch on the lips. I'm sure that'll make a lot of you really happy. They live in their family house, the house that they grew up in. Deadshot is the police captain instead of Captain Singh. His name is Deadshot, not because he is a dead shot, but because he's so terrible he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Earth 2 Captain Singh is just a common criminal. We can talk more about Earth 2 Iris West in a sec, because I have a feeling that through the course of the episode, she figures out that Barry is not her Barry. She's a detective, she seems really good at her job, so she's probably figured it out, like, okay, you are definitely not acting like my Barry, and you know this guy who I don't know, this seems weird, something's going on. But on to number 6, WTF, Barry's mother is still alive. So there were so many awesome things that happened while they were in that house. One, Barry just being awkward about Iris taking her clothes off. Then looking at the phone with all the numbers on it. So you basically have half of the Justice League here. Like they're all alive somewhere. Atlantis is above ground. We knew that because Jay Garrick told us. We know that Jay Garrick is actually friends with Arthur Curry. So I'm guessing Earth 2 Barry has probably met him too. But Eddie's still alive. We have Bruce, Diana, and Hal Jordan. The reason I think that Clark Kent's name is not on there is because the Flash TV show, just, in general, is going to do the Supergirl crossover, and they want to focus more on the Kara-Barry relationship than the Clark Kent-Barry relationship. So they just forget about Superman for just a minute because we're going to be focusing on Supergirl. Although Superman does exist on Kara's world, I don't know if he's going to show up in the crossover though. I'm assuming not. So super awesome, super cry-worthy moment. Don't mind me if I'm crying during this phone call, Mom. I just wanted to return your phone call. No big deal. Just gonna cry my eyes out. And when his mom makes the comment about starting to have some grandchildren, Barry and Iris's children in the comics are the Tornado Twins. But it gets a little timey-wimey because they live in the future, because Iris is secretly from the future. It gets really complicated. I don't know if we'll ever get to see him on the show. I think it's more likely that we would see a version of Bart Allen eventually. Number 5, WTF. Still crying, but crying tears of joy because Killer Frost and Deathstorm arrive. When Barry calls her Caitlin later in the episode and she's like, I haven't heard that name in a long time. I stopped being that person. It's a very Darth Vader type moment. That name, Anakin Skywalker, no longer has any meaning to me. You have to remember that Jay Garrick has been the Flash for a full year longer than Barry, so presumably for the last 2 years she's been Killer Frost. Number 4, WTF. Joe West on Earth 2 is a swanky lounge singer, hates Barry, and then later Iris tells our Barry that he also does not like Joe. So you get that knee-jerk WTF from Barry where he's like, well, they're my family in any universe. So it makes it all that more meaningful when Barry kind of forces the relationship between them for number 3, WTF. Joe West gets killed by Killer Frost and Deathstorm. They teased there was going to be a big death in the episode who was going to be a main character, so most of you correctly assumed that it would be one of the Earth 2 versions of a main character. I didn't think that it'd be Joe though. And as cold as Earth 2 Joe seemed when he was talking to Barry, he still has that exact same type of relationship with Iris. Every song is always for you, baby. So it was really one of the most touching moments in the episode, even though you also get a similar reaction from Killer Frost when Zoom kills Deathstorm. So actually 2 main characters ended up dying. Number 3, WTF. Jay Garrick takes Velocity 7, getting closer to Velocity 9. I'm wondering if that's going to happen during next week's episode, or if they're going to tease Velocity 8 and then they'll leave Velocity 9 for some future episode. I do think that they'll get to Velocity 9, and that'll be part of the way that he gets his speed back. But the big WTF is him coming clean about how he created Velocity 6 because his speed wasn't enough for him. He needed more. That also sounds a lot like what's going on with Zoom. You could still try to explain Zoom as like a negative version of Jay Garrick, like the Velocity 6 has some crazy side effect that we don't know about yet. There's still a couple options open. We haven't seen the Earth 2 versions of every single Earth 1 character yet. Like we haven't seen Earth 2 Wally yet. So on to number 2, WTF. Zoom kills Evil Cisco, who is Reverb. That was just so amazing. Just Cisco versus Evil Cisco. I can do that. I will show you. Are you trying to Cloud City Empire Strikes Back me right now? Most of you probably understood what that meant, but during Empire Strikes Back, Vader told Luke, we can overthrow the Empire and rule the galaxy together. That's the offer Evil Cisco made to our Cisco. What if Zoom wasn't in charge anymore? And now we know how Zoom knows so much. He has an evil version of Cisco who's more in command of his powers, telling him what's going on, vibing Earth 1 stuff. But not anymore though, because he is totally dead. Evil Cisco is dead. So finally, on to my number 1 WTF. Zoom captures Barry and puts him in a prison right next to Jesse Quick and a mystery figure here. Now who's this person in the mask? If you look here, it looks like an older person just because their neck has some creases in it. I'm wondering if this is Barry's dad from Earth 2, or maybe it's from Earth 1. Wouldn't that be a WTF if it's Earth 1 Henry Allen? Because we really don't know where he is right now. But obviously this is just part 1. Part 2 of the episode is called Escape from Earth 2. So everybody that survived that final attack on Earth 2 is going to band together to try and rescue Barry, Jesse Quick, and whoever this mystery person is. But let me know in the comments, who do you think Mystery Iron Mask person is? Now, just look at the neck. It looks like an older person, so I'm guessing it's not Wally. I still have a theory for Wally as Zoom, but there's still a couple possibilities. I know a lot of people want it to be Eddie, but I feel like him showing up on Barry's phone means he's a friend, meaning that he is not Zoom. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe you have to watch the episode once or twice to get a feel for it, but who is the Iron Mask person, and who do you think Zoom is now? If you haven't seen it or you missed that video, I explained the Daniel West New 52 Wally West Flash Season 2 theory in my episode 12 video from last week. So that's most of the Easter eggs in the episode. I mean, they did mention Jaws and some other non-comic book stuff. I don't really consider those Easter eggs. Usually an Easter egg has to be comic book specific. But let me know if you guys spotted anything else. Just write it below in the comments. In related news, Arrow tomorrow. Merlin and Oliver are gonna wreck the shit out of each other. A lot of you have also been asking about Legends of Tomorrow episode 4 leaking early. They just aired it early after the Super Bowl in Canada, but only in Canada. It's airing on Thursday everywhere else that it normally airs. Because they just confirmed that Deathstroke is off limits to the TV show now because he is quote-unquote booked for another live-action project, which is probably Suicide Squad, I'll do a special video for that tomorrow before Arrow. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for all my Super Bowl trailer videos, and you can click here to learn all about the Deadpool sequel, which they have already greenlit, like literally just today they announced. Deadpool sequel is happening. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.